Can I finish typing Periscope and at Brady Galliers? Well, I kind of just revealed the guest of today's show, but so what? I never said I was good at my job. If anything, I am only good at being bad at what I do. But welcome everybody, regardless, to another edition of Often Pacing Live. I am Ray Catolo. Some may say I am all of North American Harness Update, but that's just not true. It's a team effort. Rod Allums Jr. is one of my co-hosts. My co-host here on this broadcast, Mike Prebozy, could not be here because, let's be honest, it was between this and saving the life of a 6-year-old Lithuanian boy who had an ulcer the size of Arkansas growing out of his spine. And I feel like that's a bit more important. But what I do is not really that important, I'm going to be honest with you. So that's why I'm here. I would instead probably be writing some kind of article about how farts changed mankind. However, Periscope has stopped. They have, by the way. I have a thesis about it. Okay, so are we still live then? Okay, yeah, I think we're still live. Let me double check. My Periscope just crashed. We still going? Yeah, we're still going. Okay. I got worried there for a second. Anyway, today's broadcast, is headlined by, if you can see on the little trophies, the NAHU Champion Stakes. Of course, NAHU is the abbreviation if you take all of the words in NA Harness Update and you acronize them. That is the verb to make of an acronym. Then you have NAHU. Now, NAHU is a brand. It's a franchise. I think I'm using words that could actually get me sued. North American Arts Update is a radio show that I have been on for, and I'm going to make this less about me in a moment when I call up our guest for today's show, but North American Arts Update has been a show I've produced for, let's see, it's 2017, probably 4 years, and it hasn't been until recently that the show's really started to become what I envisioned it to be, which is pure nothing. Like, you listen to me talk here on this broadcast, that's kind of what you get on North American Harness Update, except we are also some of the best handicappers in the sport today, and tomorrow, and every day after that. We are always there, always grinding. Well, I'm not really grinding, I'm trying to do as little work as I really can, to be honest, but I still, along with Mike and Rod, Mike Prebozy, Rod Allums Jr., we come together and we give out horses that you may have never considered, bet on, won on, even thought were racing. And that's where my plug basically ends. North American Harness Update, the only harness racing show, well, no, it's a harness racing show I try to make as little about harness racing. But anyway, those plugs are aside. Now it's time for the Periscope. That's also kind of the background of the NAHU Champion Stakes. However, now for the Periscope, it's time to call up our special guest. You may know him as a trainer, driver, owner, horseman, man, out in the great state of Ohio. He's a young gun like I dialed his number right. Please welcome. Oh, that was quick. Please welcome Brady Galliers, everyone. Is it Galliers or Galliers?
Galliers.
Oh, okay. If I feel like if it was like New York where you were from, I think Galliers might actually be the proper pronunciation.
Yeah, I would. That's what I would go by if I was from
there. I mean, you have to. You got to be fancy when you're up there. It's a competition.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, Ohio.
Instead, I'm here in Ohio with a bunch of cornfields and stuff. So it's
Are you saying you're one of the children of the corn?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm starstruck right now. All right, jokes aside, Brady. First off, I want to ask, and I want to say for all of the ladies out there, how old are you?
21 years old.
21 years young. Thank you.
21 years young. Yeah.
Actually, no, you're 21 years old, to be honest. It's just going to get worse from there. But
yeah, that's what I've heard.
That's what you'll feel, too. Probably tomorrow. But I've seen you out on the Ohio circuit And I've seen you on Twitter out in the Ohio circuit. I haven't seen you literally out in the Ohio circuit because I'm in Pennsylvania, but you've been out there for years. And as a 21-year-old, how did you like when did you start doing your horseman stuff?
Yeah, I graduated high school and then I kind of went from there. I was it was a bit, 4 years ago is when I first got started kind of by myself, but then I helped out a few people and everything, and then when I was 16, I got my license to drive at the fairs, and then when I was 18, I got my P license to drive at the pure neutral tracks and stuff.
So were you before that involved in any way in harness racing?
No, no, my family wasn't in it, and neither was I. I just played sports when I grew up, and but then when I was introduced to this, I just loved it and wanted to try it and get into it.
Now, when you say when you were introduced to it, how could you have been introduced if no one in your family was involved at all?
My grandparents took me to the fairs when
Okay.
they would go watch the races, and they would take me, and that's how I got interested and involved in it, and we just went from there.
No, at what age did you really feel that this was the path you wanted to take with your life?
About 18. At 18, when I graduated high school, when I sat down with my parents and stuff, and we discussed whether I go to college or whether I continue to try to do this, and that was kind of the turning point. And they said they'd be behind me with it, so we decided to just give it a try, and it's been going good since. So
Now you were
I'd say 18 years old was when I decided.
you were interested in the sport, of course, through high school. Did any of your friends really think that was interesting at all? Did they even know that you were kind of a horse guy? I'm not saying that like you're
Yeah,
ugly.
yeah, they always actually thought were always interested in it. They would actually, some of them would come to the fairs with me and hang out and watch me race and everything, and then the ones that didn't or whatever, they would always ask me about it and everything. So yeah, I actually from being where I'm from, which had really nothing to do with harness racing, a lot of people were really interested.
That's interesting because I've had like the exact opposite experience. Nobody cares.
Really?
No, but like they know me as the horse kid, and they ask like, how are the horses going? Like, there's no vested interest at all. But then again, I'm
Yeah,
also kind of a wimp.
they would always ask me about it and everything. The biggest thing though that I would always get is, "Oh, you're a jockey." That's the biggest thing. And well, like when I told them I raced horses, they're like, "Oh, you're a jockey," and it was no. We sit behind them on the carts, this and that, and then some of them still didn't understand it, and then some of them still asked me if I would ever win the Kentucky Derby and everything like that. But just I guess the more explaining I did, they finally understood it. But yeah, they were usually interested in it.
Well, you see, if they ask if you're a jockey, what you have to do is you have to roll up your pants and take off your stilts, and then you say, "How'd you know?"
Well, I am pretty sure, but I told them I wouldn't pass the weight limit.
So you get involved at 18, but I see you training, driving, owning. How were you able to have this kind of setup so young? Like, I can barely afford college right now.
I mean, my parents they helped me out a lot. They like I said, when we decided that I was going to try to do this instead of go to college, we took all my money that I saved from college and we put it towards the business, and they bought me horses, and then once they bought me horses and once they started doing good, it kind of led to me getting some owners, this and that. And now I own a piece of a few, and I own all of a few, but I also have some decent owners that buy me decent horses, and it's just kind of been up from there. But starting out, to get my feet wet, I had my parents that helped me, and a few people that would give me drives and everything like that.
Now it's not like you can go into the training business and go, all right, you treat a horse like a toddler. You let it cry for
Yeah,
a bit, you change its diapers, you move on. Who
sure.
really helped you learn how to train these horses, how to care for these horses?
I mean, I didn't really ever work for anybody because when I was working, it was still on my own horses that I say owned.
Mm-hmm.
But I got into the business. A trainer named Bill Webb that kind of helped me out or whatever. That because we had horses with it that I owned with
Mm-hmm.
him, and I dragged my first horse out there, this and that. But really, I just always asked questions. Like I was, my ears are always open. Willing to learn, trying to learn, trying to do this, do the right thing, this and that. But I mean, I really never worked for anybody. Now, yeah, granted, I didn't just, walk into the barn and say, put the hobbles on them, I'm going to go in 210 or whatever. I learned all that at the farm I was at with Bill Webb and everything. But I also kind of just learned from everybody else the pieces of information they would give me, really. Because I was totally green going into the business and still don't, obviously don't know everything, and I'm always willing to, learn something and keep my ears open.
So you're currently out in Ohio, then just running this operation. Is that kind of the plan for the next couple of years? Just see how well you could really do, not really plan on moving anywhere?
Yeah, because I'm just getting set up, like you said, I'm 21 years old. I haven't, done that much or whatever. So I'm set up here to where I'm a preferred trainer here in Ohio because there's so many people wanting to come here now that the purses are great and everything. It's hard to get in.
Mm-hmm.
Well, since I was born and raised here, I'm able to get in no problem, this and that. So, yeah, right now I'm set up here. I'm at a farm. I love it. And I'm at a good location right now. But, yeah, maybe, 5 years down the road, try it out east. That would be great. But, I got to learn a lot more.
Now the game. The game is an important part of this broadcast because it's the only reason we have this broadcast.
Right.
When did you first hear about Off and Pacing?
Like, right when you guys started advertising it.
I did something.
They said, the horse racing game, this and that. And when I was young, that's all I ever wanted. I was like, man, what if they made a horse racing game, harness racing game?
Mm-hmm.
And finally, this is like the first thing of it, and it's great. But yeah, I would say I was probably one of the first people that got the game, that got it because I went through how you guys sent me the email, this and that before it was ever on the App Store and all that stuff. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, like they say, the millennials love the mobile app racing games. Getting away from Grandma Tech. So there is this game. Do you have like friends that are actually seeing you play this and go, "What's that?"
Actually, not up until this weekend, no. But then this weekend, I went to the lake with all my friends, and I told them, I was like, "Hey, check this game out." Because they're always asking me about, horse racing. I said, well, here, you can kind of learn a little bit and kind of do your own thing on here. I was showing them around this and that, and they thought it was cool. I actually just sent them, what I told them just to get it on the App Store or whatever, and they're gonna. I think some of them are gonna try it.
You think? You don't know.
Well, they said they were. I mean, I hope they will.
You see, Brady, this is why the Italians invented the threat. If they don't, then someone's losing a leg.
Well, I'll make sure they do.
You better. But I feel like I was going to go somewhere else with that. But, Brady, it's been a blast. I've had fun. I'm sure you had a little bit. You got to be honest. Had a little bit of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, Brady, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy, busy schedule, as you were most likely probably sitting on the couch right now before heading out to the barn. Am I right? Am I right? Am I right?
I just got home from the barn. So.
Oh, okay. You got home from the barn. I was half right. I can only like be so much like clairvoyant. I was trying to quote a T.S. Eliot poem, but I couldn't remember it. Madame Clairvoyant or something. It's from the wasteland. Yeah. It's getting way too complex.
Well, I just got home, and I'll sit down, and then I'll start playing the game all day. How about that?
As long as it's all day, man. Break out the Cheetos and the Mountain Dew. Just put them in a funnel and go at it.
Yep, exactly.
Brady Galliers, everyone. Brady, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, take care. Bye-bye. It's always nice getting some young blood just because I'm an old soul. I hope you can hear me sniffling because I was supposed to replicate crying. Alright, so now we're going to flip over to the NAHU Champion Stakes, which is a minute away from post time. This is a $1 million stakes event, of course, titled after the hit harness racing handicapping show, North American Harness Update, except as the acronym, which I guess kind of, you gotta kind of know that. But you can spell. I trust that you can spell. You're a smart bunch out there. We got 10 horses going postward here, and we have some of the best 3-year-olds going up in this race, as we wanted. We want only the best racing in our races. Everyone else can race like the DRF Harness Showdown, to be honest. We want the best for our titled, named, self-ordained... I'm running out of adjectives and words. My vocabulary is really struggling lately. However, my calling is not, because we're 30 seconds away. Some hit names in here, including Giggity Giggity, who may be the best horse in often pacing right now. Just out of curiosity, I think this horse is pushing a very high earnings threshold as I load up the program. Oh man, he's earned $15 million. All right, that's, oh wow, 60 wins in 66 starts. Needless to say, this is the horse to beat for the Flying By Stables as they're getting ready to go here for the NAHU Champion Stakes here at Hawthorne Racecourse. They're lining up. Full field of 10 in motion and approaching the start. Off and pacing, Giggity Giggity fires out from the inside, then it's Springer Spaniel from the far outside, Mount Vernon out sprinting him, and it's Giggity Giggity going towards the cones and to the lead, moving around that first turn. Mount Vernon and Garrett Eisman are now pursuing the front, then getting away third wide is Springer Spaniel, then to the inside, fourth comes Smooth Machine coming to that opening quarter. Third up in the flow, then Dream Bigger's fifth is Mount Vernon, now circles by to the lead, coming to that first panel. I'm a Cat paces sixth, seventh comes Giggin with the Effin, alright, that's a spelling name. Surf Babes towards the rear in front of Stop Me If You Can, and trailing is Ace Diamond. Opening quarter 25, and for his Springer Spaniel is progressing to the lead onto the back stretch. Second then, now Mount Vernon sits the pocket. Here comes Dream Bigger to brush by to the outside, now taking a narrow lead with Giggity Giggity on his back, coming to that halfway point. Now shuffled to fourth, Mount Vernon. Fifth comes Smooth Machine. Surf Babe is parked out sixth, trying to catch the cover of Giggity Giggity, who's stalled right now coming to the half. Dream Bigger is parking out Giggity Giggity, who's a half length away, blocking in Springer Spaniel in the pocket third, Surf Babe second up fourth. Fifth then to the inside is Mount Vernon as the half goes in 54 and 2, 28 and 3 for that second quarter. Third over then is Ace Diamond to the inside sixth, Smooth Machine seventh rather. I'm a Cat's eighth, Giggin with an Effin is ninth, and trailing is Stop Me If You Can. Coming to three quarters, Dream Bigger, a length in front of Giggity Giggity, who is dropping back to the outside. Springer Spaniel then is third, looking for room. Mount Vernon to the inside of Surf Babe, second up, caught behind Dull Cover as they come to three quarters. It's Dream Bigger hitting that panel in 1, 20, 2, and 3 as they come for home. Dream Bigger, Springer Spaniel to the inside second, Giggity Giggity outside third, Mount Vernon locked in as they turn for home. Dream Bigger, Giggity Giggity with a final pursuit is coming at him to the outside, a length away, up to his wheel, and he's coming after Dream Bigger, off the rail from the back. I'm a Cat, Springer Spaniel with room to the inside, but Giggity Giggity is grinding his way to the lead. I'm a Cat is lunging late towards the center with Giggin with an F into the far outside, but Giggity Giggity's almost home. Giggity Giggity did it! From Dream Bigger, I'm a Cat, and Giggin wheeling with him in 1:48 and 2. Someone's gonna have to tell me how to pronounce the name of that 5-horse. Giggin Wee with Theffin. Something tells me this horse was created during a frisky night. I don't know anyone sober that could spell like that. But anyway, Coincidentally, they're named by I Don't Know Racing. I hope that's kind of their shtick, is that they name horses that you just don't know. You don't know how to pronounce them. That'd be fun. I think that'd be fun. If you don't do that, I Don't Know Racing. That I'm giving you that trope right now. But we saw the best horse in Often Pacing win yet another stakes race, probably now over 16 million in earnings, giggity giggity. Doing so, grinding his way first over to that victory, holding off all pressure. Though it wasn't like a 46 mile. 48 and 2 though is not bad for Hawthorne. Not bad at all. You know what else is not bad? Me, Ray Catola. When I host North American Harness Update Fridays at 9 p.m. over at SRN1, that's 148.ca/1. Today is Wednesday. Pull out your calendars, pull out your PDAs, your PDFs, your iTab IMAX, and upload that calendar. Click on the calendar. Friday, 9 p.m., North American Harness Update. You're going to want to tune in. We got me, Ray Catolo. We have some other people that I say are my co-hosts. And then we have coverage of races from the Meadowlands, especially from the Meadowlands, because we're getting ready for the Meadowlands Pace. That's next week. Already. We're already at the Meadowlands Pace. The summer just flies by when you follow great harness racing. But you could also follow great personalities like me, Ray Catolo, on Twitter, at Ray Catolo. Then you can send your hate mail to me at Twitter and retweet my tweets on Twitter. You can also follow the show at NA Harness Update. Follow us at and Pacing on Twitter so you can catch whenever we have another Periscope coming up. I don't know the date of the next one off the top of my head, but I do know you will be seeing tweets, notifications out for that broadcast as it looms closer. It's in the future, though. It's in the near future, because the far future is too far to think about. I was trying to think of another word for far. I could have said distant, too distant to think about, but that sounds awkward. And since I'm sounding awkward right now, it's probably a good time to tune out. Thank you for joining us. I want to thank Brady Galliers again for coming on to the show. Join us next time, whenever that next time is, for another edition of Often Pacing Live.